Hey everyone, TimaeuSS and welcome to another Etheria restart video, and today we are going to take a look at some of the best SR units in this game. Now, as you guys know, by the time this video goes live, the closed beta test for Etheria Restart is about to finish, and that is the last and final beta test because the game is going to launch on the 5th of June, and of course yours truly did just host a TimaeuSS Cup, and we participated through the closed beta test. As you can see, my account, of course, is currently level 48. The cup got really busy, so I couldn't push through to level 50, but my guildmate has, of course, done Inferno difficulty. So here are some of the top tier SR units that we're going to talk about. If you're interested in the game, of course, you can use my link down below to pre-register and get some goodies when the game does come out. But without further ado, let's talk about some of the best SR units that we have seen so far. Alright, in the closed beta test, and honestly, some of them may just get nerfed or balanced, okay, because they're so strong in comparison to even the SSR. So let's get things started. Now, the true gods in this game, there are three in my honest opinion, okay? I know you don't have to agree with everything that's listed here. I'm just going through all of the most important SRs in the game right now. And right off the bat, I think everyone can agree with Marvel being the strongest in this essentially beta test. If we take a look at the Marvel skill, you'll understand why he is just way too good for an SR character. Now, I quite like having the opportunity to use SR characters because, you know what, a lot of the free-to-play players don't have the option to get all of these SSRs, but let's take a look. The Ult S3, which is the turn meter manipulation stasis strike, essentially it's an AoE attack that deals it deals damage, and the most important part though, it applies a speed down and resistance down debuff. Alright, it lasts for 2 turns, and it's a 30% speed debuff and a 40% effect resist debuff. And not to mention, it also sets the turn meter of the enemy that hits by 50% when you reach a level 3, which is absolutely insane. Okay, so they're already very slow because the speed debuff, and then you're turning their turn meter, you're stealing that, absorbing that by 50%, so they get pushed all the way back, which is absolutely crazy. Of course, at level 4, you'll get a 100% chance to land, not counting resist, whatnot, but at level 5, it's going to be -1 CD. So he has been just showing up not only in PvP, because you can see how he can essentially go first with 115 base speed. Okay, we can easily see near 300 speed Marvels going first and applying this. If you don't have immunity, your entire team is not going to take a turn, right? You're going to have to speed down and the push back by 50%. So this is really obnoxious. There's a second skill, silence, that not everyone is really using because at max level it's still only 50% silence chance to silence one of the single target enemies. And then this first skill, this integrated, it steals the action bar of 25%. So this actually steals it, which honestly, 50% chance to do it is very good already, because not only does it have applications in PvE, you'll see that it does come clutch sometimes in PvP. Now, the craziest part about this is that, you know, for a game like this, okay, if we take a look at Etheria Restart, and the most important part is, of course, gear farming, right? And right now, if we look at some of the hell teams for Terramaton, you'll see Marvel is in most of them, which is absolutely crazy. And even the Infernal ones, which is the hardest, the most difficult clears, you see Marvel on every single team. So as an SR character, he has a 100% appearance rate for this. And not to mention, in the Doki Doki you won't see him a lot, but in Aurora, I believe, at least in the hell modes, you are going to see Marvel here and then Marvel there, and potentially I do believe there is one team on Inferno. Actually, no, all of the teams currently for Aurora here on Inferno, they do use Marvel. So without a doubt, this is the one true god, okay, leading the way for the other three amongst the three SRs that are essentially going to dominate, I think, in terms of closed beta test performance. So the other two we've talked about. One I do have as my profile and picture on the top left is going to be Dena. Right? I absolutely love Dena. Her design is very nice, but most importantly, what makes her really strong is that pristine cleaver skill. It applies a 2-turn defense debuff and defense down debuff. If the target already has that, then it turns into a 2-turn vulnerable debuff, and if they already have that as well, you get an erosion. Now, the cool thing part about this is a 4 instance attack, right? And each hit has a 40% chance, and 25 and 30, of course, it goes up if you skill up, but on a higher difficulty boss fights, you can sometimes apply both the defense down as well as vulnerable, making sure that whoever is going to take the turn, that is absolutely going to wreck the boss. And this debuff is super important because for Termaton, for example, you're going to do a lot of speed clears. It's going to be a DPS race. Either the enemy takes you out or you take the enemy out. And for Aurora, some of the teams, I do believe that you will see Dena here as well because of Rosa, how strong she is in terms of damage output. So you really want to race against the enemy. So Dena as the premium SR debuffer single target wise, you'll see her once again on the True Gods, in the True Gods section. And similarly, Vector is so busted as well. So we talked about the turn manipulator in Marvel, who's going to be PvE and PvP, and the ultimate debuffer single target wise in Dena, and then the single target damage output king for this current Termaton clear is going to be Victor. Now, currently in the Infernal clears, you will not see him at the moment, but for the at least Hell 4, an easy investment into Victor will secure that super fast clear, because the crazy part is that he does have some form of scalability in decreasing his OHP, providing a shield to himself, and then triggering his passive, which increases his damage dealt by 15% for each 10% decrease in the HP. And remember, your ultimate, when you use it, you sacrifice 40% of the current HP right away. So that is 4 times 15, 60% damage on top of that. So absolutely insane in terms of self-buffing within his kit. And you'll see that if we do take a look at any recent clears with him in place, you'll see that we do the clear here. We often will see Dena paired up in the Termaton run, and this is a showcase of all 3 True Gods in the SR category, where you can see the damage output is going to be super crazy. Marvel is going to open up and push everyone back. Chiaki is, of course, abuse the turn meter and push everyone forward. Dena is then going to debuff, and Lian, as the free SSR, is going to do the AoE, steal some more extra turns, and here comes Victor. Look at that! Half of the HP gone with the White Fang follow-up too, and that's pretty much it. What an insane turn order. So yeah, I personally believe that these 3 characters is going to be super important for any players starting out. And in this game, you definitely want to make sure that you have your PvE done, especially if you're a small spender or free-to-play player. PvE is going to be your #1 priority over PvP in the beginning, alright? Because once you have the gears, it's a lot easier. Sometimes if you even don't have the roster, you can outscale with the gear. So the 3 True Gods are essentially your PvE extremely strong units. Now for the other remaining characters, I'm not going to go into as in-depth of a breakdown. I'll just tell you why they are very good, and I expect some changes, balance patches, as the producer said on my stream as well, or Vulcan stream, and as we casted the PvP Cup. So let's go over the remaining really good SR. So Sonya, of course, the healer SR is fantastic, right? She's got her own action bar push with the S1 basic attack, and then a revive for S3 on top of her own passive heals with the spell. So Sonya, if you don't have another healer, but most people, of course, day 7 will get Ling Lo for free if you do the missions. So Sonya is definitely a good choice as well. Now looking at another character that we get absolutely for free, that is going to be Gray. Gray, you get it right at the beginning, and he's got this 50% team-wide buff into an AoE defense break, and that's really good, allowing your damage dealers on your team to essentially be at the 50% or around that in terms of crit rate, and go all in with stats like crit damage. Is a very good enabler. So yeah, he's fantastic, and he cycles super fast because he does get an extra turn with the S2, so he's going to go S2 into S3, having basically only one turn of downtime with that. So yeah, these two fantastic pickup. Now the remaining 5, okay, I'll go over them very quickly, are really strong PvE characters, and Kraken is the only one who's also kind of PvP. So starting with Deetling, I can't say his name. He's essentially Victor, but slightly weaker in my opinion. All right, Victor, as we tested throughout this closed beta, is just too much of a beast. The damage output is absolutely insane. So yeah, Deetling is also a very strong single target character, but maybe just a bit behind. He's gonna be super good with against Aurora, but hey, if you got Victor build or Rosa, then you probably will not be using him. Now next is Yang, I believe, and a lot of people are using him for the buff. This is essentially for a super fast speed clear team, and I mean, this is decent as well as an SR character, but more of a late game support piece that if you don't have the stats or the gears to do it, then he's not going to offer that much to the team, because you need your DPS to be really strong. Now Kazuo is the Doki premier team in my opinion. All right, having the ability to sleep the other 5 units on the enemy team, as well as remove some of the buffs because of applying CC, and then having attack down is so crucial in clearing Doki. And in that same vein, having Kraken is going to be a valid choice. I think Kazu does win out in terms of Doki teams, but Kraken, you can use him in PvP as well, having that AoE team-wide freeze against the enemy team, and then also S2 will have a deep freeze against a single target unit, and don't forget the S1 basic attack does offer defense down as well, so definitely not bad. And last but certainly not least, I think this is a secret tech that people might be noticing near the end of the closed beta, and that is Valerian, and she is of course a character that everyone will get if you top up just a 99 cents. She has the first top up bonus. Basically, if you spend any single amount of real money, you get her for free, okay? And she is truly unique in the sense that she does offer sustain. You want her to have a very big HP pool, but as slow as possible is what the build I'm seeing, and she's able to actually tank through a lot of the team. So if we go into the some of the sample teams, we do see some really thick Valerians as well in the, I believe, the clear here. You can see currently all the top clears that we can see for Infernal Doki, we see Valerian. Okay, this is a slightly faster one with some speed, but you can see the main focus is going to be that HP 9.2 plus 32k, over 4,000. And here we go, another Valerian. This is a super fast one, and yeah, you can see that we are getting a mix. All right, we are getting a mix in terms of the build time. But yeah, you basically want her to be you know, HP focused, and if you do have the extra gear to go for that speed, definitely go for it. But we see Sanya as a viable option as well in some of the longer clear times. Okay, and certainly last but not least, I'm going to move my VTuber model here, the PvP niche. Well, like I said, Kraken is good being PvP as well, but this Viper character honestly has been putting so much work for one of the top competing PvP players in the TimaeuSS Cup that just happened over the weekend. That is of course Shiny. He really showcased how strong Viper is, and with the ability to hard counter units that buff a lot. So for example, Hellkit was completely neutered by Viper stripping the Hellkit Shroud Shield or Shroud Barrier, and then also applying attack down. So even if Hellkit gets up another set of shields, it's going to be tiny because it's scaling off of the attack. But having the ability to dispel on counters is absolutely insane, and we saw how strong later on he can scale as well using shells like White Fang. So you can build him tanky, and later on he will do significant amount of damage. So definitely a very good PvP character that is reminiscent of some of the bruiser environment we've played in the other game. So there we have it. Those are the really top tier SR characters. I might have missed a few. If I have, let me know in the comments. For example, Opal is a really good control unit that applies dots and also stuns, and we got Rain with the thickest shield in the game, close to the Artisan from For example, Rahu's shell, right? Yeah, but let me know your thoughts and what other SR units you have been using in this closed beta, and hopefully the best ones won't get nerfed much, because you know these are really good PvE characters, and Marvel of course is a bit too strong in PvE and PvP, so I think he will get a slight balance, but I really hope that the teams we've been using for the closed beta test somewhat still works for the full launch. Anyhow, it's TimaeuSS here, and I probably will do a RTA or PvP tier list after this, after we have seen the performance of the TimaeuSS Cup. Even though the roster is a bit smaller, because you know what, people only had a couple of days to figure things out, but hey, we will go with what we had and take a look at the performance of some of the characters already used in this top ranking tournament. Anyhow, thank you so much, and I will see you guys in the next one. And goodbye now.